Hello, everyone. Welcome in today. Today, we're going to go through our final mock draft for the 2025 NFL draft. We're going to kick it off at number one. The Tennessee Titans are going Cam Ward, the quarterback out of Miami. You know what? This one's kind of a signed, sealed, and delivered. They've already told us this is what they're doing. We already know that's what's going to happen, but they're still going to make us wait 10 minutes on the clock. Luckily, I'm not going to do that to you here. On the number two, it's going to be Travis Hunter, the corner slash receiver out of Colorado. I think the Browns will use him more as a receiver. I think he has a higher ceiling, probably as a receiver, so that way he can play both ways and protect his body, but I think to be in his most effective role, it's better to play defense and then play some offense. I just worry about the physicality of playing defense because, he is going to have to make tackles. As a receiver, he can protect his body some. It's kind of a weird complex with him. I think he's going to be a better corner. And I think corner is more valuable because they're harder to find. But at the same time, he has a really high ceiling at receiver. I think the Browns are going to get a good player here. Moving on to number three, the New York Giants pass on quarterback. They're going to go Abdul Carter, the edge out of Penn State. I think it's the right decision to do for this organization. As badly as I want Abdul Carter to fall to the Patriots at pick 4, I just don't think that's what's going to happen. I think the Giants are going to do the smart thing. They're going to take Carter here at 3. They might trade back into round 1, or they might just sit and wait because I think round 2, you could probably get a guy to take a shot on. And if you stink and it doesn't work out, you know what? You can move into the future and get somebody else if you need to. At pick 4, it's going to be Will Campbell, the tackle out of LSU. I don't love this pick as a Patriots fan. I just get a feeling that's where they're going to go. Personally, I really wanted to put Ashton Genty here because he's just one of the best players on the board, or even a Mason Graham. But I think they realize they need to take a swing at tackle. I like Armand Membu better, and I would take him if I was making this pick. But I think with Morgan Moses there, they're telling us they need a left tackle. They're going to go Will Campbell. At pick 5, it's going to be Mason Graham, the defensive lineman out of Michigan, heading to the Jacksonville Jaguars. This one's kind of what everybody does, and when it doesn't happen, we're all going to be stunned. And I kind of am at the point where I'm like, is it going to be like a Tyler Warren or some crazy pick that nobody's expecting? Because everybody feels like they know this pick, and it doesn't always go that way. And I feel like the same thing's going to happen at number 6, where I have tackle Armand Membu going here instead of Ashton Genty. Taking a running back at 6 is just super rich in my opinion. As much as I love Genty, I don't know that it makes sense for the Raiders to do that. I think they're more than a running back away. I think they can upgrade their offensive line. Like DJ Glaze wasn't that bad, but Armand Membu's an upgrade. So why not get him here? And you hope not to be picking this high again for a while, especially with Geno Smith at quarterback. So at pick 7, I have Tyler Warren going to the Jets, the tight end out of Penn State. Membu's who I usually put there, but he was already gone in this situation. Tyler Warren makes a ton of sense. He can come in, contribute right away, give another weapon to their quarterback, and kind of see what happens here and hope for the best. Because I don't see them trying to replace Justin Fields, and I think you need to surround him with talent to really see if he's worth keeping around. At pick 8, it's going to be Jalen Walker, the edge out of Georgia. I don't take him this high, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the NFL is going to value this guy quite a bit. And worst case scenario, my Patriots value him. I really hope they don't, because I view him as more a mid to late first round guy. He's a tweener. He's got a lot of developing to do. He's listed as linebacker on PFF and by some other people, but I don't like his instincts as linebacker. I think he's going to have to be an undersized edge rusher. At pick 9, I have the New Orleans Saints going Michael Williams, the edge out of Georgia. I know, probably shocking that I had him pass on a quarterback here with the Derek Carr news coming out. I just feel like the NFL is going to be smarter than we realize with these quarterbacks. Like, I'm seeing mock drafts where 3 quarterbacks is just common, and I'm not sure that we're going to get there. I feel, and I'm getting the feeling in my gut, that this is going to be like the Kenny Pickett year, where quarterbacks go later than everybody expected them to go. And I think the Saints are going to probably be an aggressive team to try to get one. They might try to get into the back of the first round to get ahead of these guys like the Browns and the Giants. But I just don't think you want to take a swing at pick 9. That's just my opinion right now. I could see Shadur maybe going there. I have a late round 1 grade on him. He falls in my late round 1 area. I think he's 31 in the big board you seen yesterday. So maybe they think that's good enough to take a swing. I still wouldn't like to take him till middle of the first round. So maybe trade back and snag him if you can, but I just don't think that's what they're going to do. Michael Williams is a raw player. He has a lot of upside. He's also much lower on my board, but he's the type that Mickey Loomis likes, so I kind of expect him to go this direction here and take a swing on another big edge rusher. At pick 10, it's going to be Ashton Genty heading to the Bears. He made it here. They'd be dumb not to pick him, in my opinion. They did everything they could to upgrade this team. I think this is the type of team you want to drop a good running back into and let him go. At pick 11, the San Francisco 49ers are going to go Walter Nolan, the defensive lineman out of Ole Miss. I'm a big fan of his. He has a lot of upside. You hear some character questions with him that they're just reports that are out there. I can't look at anything but what I see on film, and the talent's there. And I think he'd really fit Robert Sala's scheme, and it'd be a great pick for him. At pick 12, the Dallas Cowboys are going to go Tetaroa McMillan, the wide receiver out of Arizona. I think he complements CeeDee Lamb really well. I think he'll be able to play that X position, and it'll allow you to move CD around like you have been doing, and just give him somebody that they're going to have to respect on the opposite side of him. At pick 13, I have the Miami Dolphins going Kelvin Banks Jr. I don't know that you necessarily have to play him at left tackle. They took Patrick Paul. I don't think they're going to view him as a guard. Maybe you play Banks at guard, and then if Paul doesn't work, you kick him out there. That's kind of my guess here at pick 13. It was a tough spot. I wasn't really sure what to do here. I just don't know that they're going to value Malachi Starks as much as I do. I would take Malachi Starks here if I was them, but I don't know if they're going to value him the same as what I do. At pick 14, the Indianapolis Colts are going to go Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan. I'm a big fan of his. I really like Loveland. I think he should go higher than this, and it wouldn't shock me if he did. He's here, and I think the Colts would be crazy to pass up on him. Give Anthony Richardson, or I guess Daniel Jones, somebody to help this offense and really test and see what you have here in the building. At pick 15, it's going to be Mike Green, the edge out of Marshall, heading to the Atlanta Falcons. Look, he's a really good player. I like Mike Green. I think he has a lot of upside. He would be higher on this list, and he'd probably go top 10 in this class if it wasn't for the allegations on his past that he already addressed. And you have to know how you feel about them. Some teams probably won't even look at him for them reasons. So it's hard to really tell where he's going to go, but I think a fit with Atlanta would be really good for him. At pick 16, I took a chance here, and I'm leaving Will Johnson, the corner out of Michigan, in the top half of this class. I really like Will Johnson, but those testing numbers scare you. Not running the 40 and that being reported because it was, he knew it was going to be in the 4.6s. There's a lot of questions. Plus, he has a lot of injury questions to work through. I almost put him late round 1, but it feels like it's tough for me to project that. I really like the guy. There's questions, and I don't know how the league's going to feel about it because they're notoriously tight-lipped this time of the year. So, kind of is what it is. At pick 17, the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go Jahad Campbell, the linebacker out of Alabama. Now, he has a shoulder injury that you have to worry about a little bit. Could drop him down. I don't know that he'll go round 2. He has a lot of talent, but the possibility is there for him to drop. I'm taking a chance and betting on the talent and the player here, and I'm going to put him at 17. At pick 18, the Seattle Seahawks are going to do what I don't know that they'll actually do, and they're going to take Gray Zabel, the guard out of North Dakota State. I know their GM Snyder does not like interior players, and he seems allergic to wanting to take them and address the position. I have to feel that he's maybe learned his lesson, and they're going to try to upgrade this team a little bit. And we're going to go as Gray Zabel here. Honestly, I was going to give him to the Bengals, but they don't usually go small school guys early. They like to get the big school guys, so that's why I went Jahad Campbell there. Worked out for the Seahawks. They get Zabel here at pick 18. At pick 19, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking a swing on an edge rusher. Even though they wanted Jahad Campbell to get here, he didn't. Thought about a corner. I just don't think there's one worth taking here that really fits what the Bucs need. We're going to go Donovan Ezeraku, the edge out of Boston College. I think he could come in. You could use him as a rotational piece. You have a Hassan Reddick on the team, and just help yourself in the long term. Take a swing on a guy who has maybe not as tall as you like, but he has the length you're looking for. At pick 20, the Denver Broncos, Omarion Hampton made it here. I'm going to give him Omarion Hampton, the halfback out of North Carolina. I think he'll find a way into round 1. I just don't know how high he'll go. If he goes higher than this, I'd be okay with it, but I don't know how high he'll get. It's hard with running backs to project. So I'm going to have him go at pick 20 here to the Broncos. At pick 21, it's Shadur Sanders, the quarterback out of Colorado, heading to the Steelers. I've heard the Steelers love him, and then I've heard some people say, oh, they had an official visit and it didn't go well. I don't know what to believe. Honestly, I really don't. I do know Sanders is good enough to go in round 1, and I do know the Steelers need a quarterback. They can count on Aaron Rodgers all they want, but you just don't know, man. Why not come out of this thing with a quarterback? And he's here. You didn't have to trade up for him. Just take him and move on. At pick 22, I'm going to have the Chargers go Matthew Golden to complement what they have in Ladd McConkey. I think that would be a really nice fit for this offense. I love Matthew Golden. I'd take him earlier in this. I just don't know how the league's going to view him. So I'm going to have him go in this range here. I would take him higher. I think Chargers are getting a steal if he makes it here to pick 22. Sure, they'd love Colston Loveland to make it here, or they could take another one of them Michigan guys, but he's a really good player. Get him off the board, compliment Ladd McConkey, and you'll be all right. I pick 23. Green Bay is going to take a shot on a receiver. It's not what they normally do. I just didn't know what to do with him here. I'm going to go Luther Burden III out of Missouri, and even though he has a lot of questions about, I don't want to say character, but I didn't like his effort in games. Like when he wasn't the primary target on a play, he didn't try at times. So I'm lower on him. I think the NFL could fall in love, though, with the talent of the guy and take a shot. And we're going to say Green Bay does here at 23. At pick 24, the Minnesota Vikings are going to go Malachi Starks, the safety out of Georgia. Great steal. He's a top 10 guy for me. I have him, I think, at number 9 on my big board. For him to be able to come in and learn for a year underneath Harrison Smith and just get better and learn this Vikings defense with Brian Flores there running, I think it'd be a great fit. And I think it'd be really smart for them to invest in the position for the long haul. Honestly, ideally, they trade down and they get more picks because they don't have many. Giving them that option here, because I don't know that a team's going to want to move up for a quarterback. I just don't know that they're going to want to. I'm going to give them Malachi Starks here. At pick 25, the Houston Texans are going to go Josh Simmons, the tackle out of Ohio State. He's number 18 on my big board. He would be higher if it wasn't for the injury. He'd be the top tackle in this class, and I'd be begging my Patriots to take him at number 4, as long as he played as well as he did early in the season, towards the end of the season. I loved him on tape. He was awesome. There's questions. I hear some things that maybe some teams didn't like the interview with him. I don't know. I don't trust that stuff because people put out information that they want to put out to benefit themselves. So maybe a team at the end of the first round is putting that information out, hoping he gets to him. Or a team like the Patriots are putting that information out because they're hoping they can sneak into the end of the first round and get him. I really like Josh Simmons. 25 would be a great steal. Texans are a good fit. They have a lot of guys there, but give them an opportunity to heal, get healthy, and then come back and take over. At pick 26, I actually gave Jahdae Barron, the corner out of Texas, to the Rams. I am higher on him. I could see him falling to day 2. Size is a question with him. He ran better than anybody would have expected, to be honest with you. I didn't think he was going to be that fast. His length really sucks, but I think he could go to the Rams. I think he could play in the slot. Kobe Bryant, I think, is their corner that used to play slot, moved outside and played pretty well last year. I think you put Jahdae Barron in that slot and let him go. At pick 27, it's Tyler Booker, the guard out of Alabama, heading to the Ravens. I think it just fits their scheme. It'd give him a big mauling guy ahead of Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, and boom. I think you plug and play him day 1, it'd be a great get. At pick 28, we're going to have the Lions go Shamar Stewart, the edge rusher out of Texas A&M. I'm a little higher on him, but I'm betting on traits, and I understand why the league might not want to do it. The difference is I see his pressures when I watch his film, and I go, hey, that's something to work with. Why didn't he finish? I don't know. You need to figure that part out. But he did get quarterbacks off their spot. Maybe he didn't get the sack, but he got pressure. He got him moving, which is a good thing, and that helps the defense overall. I think he's an okay run defender. I think Mykel Williams is a better run defender right now, which is why I had the Saints go him in the top 10 and over Shamar Stewart's, because I think his floor as a run defender is a little bit higher. So even though I don't think his ceiling as a pass rusher is as high, I'm betting on one or the other, and I took a chance and bet on Mykel Williams. But Shamar, he's a developmental guy. He only had 1.5 sacks. I know that. But if you take a chance on this guy and he hits his ceiling, you have yourself one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, at least top 10. So he has the traits to be elite. It's just a matter of whether you can get him there. At pick 29, I have the Washington Commanders going James Pierce, the edge out of Tennessee. I genuinely think he could go in round 2. I just don't know that the talent is going to allow teams to pass on him for that long. And I think a guy like Dan Quinn's going to think with his time in Dallas, where he worked with a lot of players like this, he might be able to get the best out of him. He might be able to really reach him and make him into something. Because there's a lot of character questions with James Pierce. You hear a lot of different things. You hear attitude problems. You hear he didn't like going to practice. I've heard a lot of things about him. I don't know what's true. I just know there's a lot of red flags that have dropped him on teams' boards. I think he easily could be a round 2 guy, but I can understand if the Commanders want to take a chance on a guy who could be a really good pass rusher. Even if I'm not as high on him, I see the first step quickness. I see the speed he has. He has a ceiling with that right there to be one of the better pass rushers in the class. So I get taking a shot here at pick 29. At pick 30, the Buffalo Bills are going to add some more girth to their defense. They're going to get Kenneth Grant, the defensive lineman out of Michigan. I think he would be an awesome upgrade to this team. I think he could fit in. Yes, they have the suspensions early in the season, though. Hoyt and I forget the other guy they just signed to has a 6-game suspension. I can't remember, but he's the D lineman. Either way, I think Kenneth Grant has some developing, but he has a really high ceiling, and he is kind of something that they don't have on their roster right now. So to me, he's worth taking a shot on here at pick 30 if he makes it. At pick 31, a guy I personally think could go higher, but I think both D linemen could. I love him. I just don't think the league's as high on him from what I'm seeing, and that's Derek Harmon at 31. The defensive lineman out of Oregon heading to the Chiefs. He'd be a steal to pair up with Chris Jones. He cleaned his body up quite a bit, lost a lot of weight when he went to Oregon. I think if he keeps cleaning it up, he has a really high ceiling as a pass rushing defensive defensive tackle, and he could learn from Chris Jones. I mean, what a position to end up in. I mean, just that's best case scenario for him. And the Chiefs would love to pick, and the rest of the league would hate it. Let's finish this one off at pick 32, and I didn't do trades, and it's not going to be a quarterback here. I only have two going in the first round. Josh Connerly Jr., the tackle out of Oregon, going to the Eagles. I almost put in Mason Graham because I've heard some buzz about him getting, or not Mason Graham, sorry, Mason Taylor, the tight end out of LSU. Because I've heard buzz about the Eagles liking him at pick 32, but I think more likely than not, if they really liked him, they would trade back if they could. And this is where I almost did a trade to put the Saints ahead of them other two teams. Take a Jackson Dart or take a Jalen Milroe, or take a Tyler Shuck, which I don't think Shuck will go in the first round. In most cases, you give quarterbacks a bump. Tyler Shuck, with his age, I don't give him a bump. I have him rated at the end of round 2. I think you sit and be patient. Get him at the end of round 2, beginning of round 3. Just because of his age, and he doesn't have the ceiling of a guy like Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart. He may be my QB4, and I may think he has some of the best tape in this class. At times, I would have him ahead of Jackson Dart. I would have him ahead of Jalen Milroe just based on tape. But that age is a real question with him. I don't think you move up to take him. I think you wait and stick and pick with him if you're the Saints. If you really love Shuck, try to get him at 40. And even still, that's a little earlier than I would take him. I have him late 50s on my big board, and I think like 50 is really where I'd first consider him because of that age. Either way, I went with Josh Connerly here. They can get a developmental tackle who I think does need to add some strength and could use a little bit more time. Lane Johnson signed an extension, I know, but he isn't going to be there forever. Get a guy like Connerly in there and just be ready. I mean, the Eagles take the best available. He was the best guy on my board for him. To me, it just made a lot of sense to stick him in here. Eagles fans, let me know how you feel about it. If you made it this far, smash that like button. If you liked what you've seen so far in the video, man, check out some of my other position rankings and stuff, and you can really see in depth how I feel about these guys. Hit that subscribe button, though. Hit the playlist, check it out. I've got them all in one playlist for you. You can see how I feel about all these guys, and I did top 10s at a lot of positions. The only ones I didn't was safety, linebacker. I only did top 10s there, or top 5s there, and then I combined pass catchers and DBs because I was running out of time here at the end of this cycle to get out my final rankings. Next year will be a little bit better. I didn't plan it out well enough this year, and I got behind, so on film watching, and I didn't want to give takes that I wasn't comfortable with, especially early on when I was first doing them. So I think I took a little too long and watched way too many guys. Like running backs, I think I watched almost 30 guys before I did that video. And the reality is, for a top 10, I didn't even do a top 15, which I should have done. So in the future, we'll have more of that, but you guys can see how I feel about these guys if you check out them videos. Have a great day. Enjoy the NFL draft. We're all pumped for it. We can't wait. It's an exciting time for the league, an exciting time for teams. So we're going to have reactions to probably round 1. I'm going to do snap reactions. I'm planning on doing shorts with those to grade out the picks as they happen. And then I'm going to give final grades for everybody's draft class at the end. I might, if I have time, record a day 2 or a day 1 and a day 2 video giving snap grades in a long form video format. Either way, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day. I'll catch you in the next one. Enjoy the draft. I'm out.